I'm making this video on an important Jewish holiday, but don't go looking for it in the Bible. It's not there. Shalom, my friends. Yes, today is a Jewish holiday. It is Yom Yerushalayim, Jerusalem Day. Let's talk about what that day commemorates, why it matters historically, and especially why it remains so emotionally and spiritually significant today. Yom Yerushalayim marks the reunification of Jerusalem during the Six-Day War in June of 1967. For many people, especially in the Jewish world,
you know something? I never would have guessed it in a million years. You sure don't look Jewish.
this was not merely a military victory or a political event. It was experienced as a moment of profound historical and religious significance. But to really understand why, we need to step back for a moment. When the modern state of Israel was established in 1948, Jerusalem was divided. West Jerusalem was given to Israel, but East Jerusalem, which included the Old City and therefore the Western Wall and the Temple Mount, that came under Jordanian control. For 19 years, Jews were unable to visit the Kotel, the Western Wall, which is the holiest place in Judaism. And this was deeply painful because Jerusalem has always stood at the center of Jewish memory and longing. Jews pray facing Jerusalem. Jews end the Passover Seder meal with the words, "Next year in Jerusalem." Jews mention Jerusalem constantly in our prayers, our poetry, and even in our mourning rituals. So Jerusalem was never just another city. It's been the capital city of the Jewish people since the time of King David, roughly 3,000 years ago. Although our holy city was sometimes captured and ruled by foreign nations, Israel remains the only modern nation state to have made Jerusalem its capital. And yet, once the state was established in 1948, the Jewish people were unable to visit the holy sites because they were under Jordanian control, and Jordan forbade Jews from entering East Jerusalem. Then came the Six-Day War of 1967. Jerusalem was begged not to enter this war that was started by Egypt, but enter the war they did, and because they did, during the fighting, Israeli paratroopers entered the old city of Jerusalem, the Ir HaAtikah. They took control of the holy city and the religious sites within its borders, most notably the Western Wall, called the Kotel in Hebrew. At that historic moment, Commander Matagur sent out a message over the radio that became one of the most famous sentences in modern Jewish history, words that are very hard for me to say without becoming emotional.
Come on, can't you read this, huh? You're the Jew here.
Har Habayit Biadenu. The Temple Mount is in our hands. Those words electrified the Jewish world. For many Jews, it felt almost impossible to believe that after nearly 2,000 years of exile, persecution, dispersion, and longing, we had once again reached the site of the ancient temples. Soon afterward, Israeli soldiers arrived at the Kotel, the Western Wall. Some of the iconic photographs from that moment show them openly weeping. And honestly, even today, if you watch the footage or hear the recordings, you can still feel the emotional power of it. It is this day, that moment, that is commemorated by Yom Yerushalayim. It's the day we return to the city where King David established his capital. It's the day we return to the city where the first and second temples stood. It's the day we return to the city that's the focus of countless biblical passages, rabbinic teachings, and Jewish prayers. It's the day we returned to our spiritual home. And that is why Yom Yerushalayim still carries such emotional weight. You see, it's not only about territory, it's about memory. It's about continuity. It's about the survival of a people who never forgot their ancient spiritual center. And there's also something else very important here. The Hebrew word Yerushalayim, Jerusalem, is associated with the word shalom, peace. Jerusalem does not only symbolize sovereignty or victory, but holiness, justice, and indeed peace. So when we celebrate Yom Yerushalayim by singing and dancing and waving flags, it's more than a celebration of a military event from 1967. It's a celebration of return. Return to Jewish history, return to sacred memory, return to Jerusalem. And at the center of that memory still stand those unforgettable words, Har Habayit Biyadenu, the Temple Mount is in our hands. My friends, I certainly hope you found this video worthy of serious consideration, or at least that you enjoyed watching it. And if you did, please give it a thumbs up, which will help us put it in front of more viewers. If you have experiences of visiting Jerusalem, going to the Western Wall, if the city has touched your life, and you don't have to be Jewish for that to happen, there are holy sites for Christians and Muslims in the city as well. Share your experience in the comments box. I would love to read about them, and I will respond if you comment. Finally, please help us grow as a channel by subscribing to the Rabbi Study. As long as you've logged into YouTube, it's easy to subscribe. All you need to do is click on my face right over here, or watch one of our other videos by clicking on its icon right over there. As ever, until next time, Shabbat Shalom and Happy Jerusalem.